What's up everybody, this is Coach Brett Contreras and this video is going to teach you how to frog pump. Now the first thing I want to mention about frog pumps is that they're very polarizing. 2/3 of people love them, they feel them working their glutes so well, and one third of people do not like them. They wonder what the craze is all about because they try them and they don't feel them that much. So what's the deal with that? Well, here I have Skelly, and here you can see Skelly's hip anatomy. Now I wish I had a wide variety of human hips here to show you, just to show you the variance, but what you'll find with human hips is that you have different shaped pelvises, different hip sockets, different acetabulums, different sizes and shapes of the femur, and especially the angle at which it inserts. And so this angle and the size and shape of your pelvis, in addition to your gluteal architecture, you know, where it attaches and the angle of the fibers and things like that, these are what determine the ideal stances and widths for you during the various glute exercises. So let's say you get down in a frog pump and you try it and you don't feel those glutes activating highly, then just don't do it. Chances are you will prefer the wide stance glute bridge instead. So do these instead. So now let's talk about how to frog pump. Lay down, get your feet together. I walk myself in, see that? So my feet are close to my butt, but not too close. There's a sweet spot. I also have a sweet spot with my abduction. I'm not as far as I can abduct. I'm not up here. I'm kind of in the middle somewhere. Tinker around to find the sweet spot with both of these. Now from here, I am not going to put my head down because this might lead to chest up, spinal hyperextension. Instead, I am going to kind of crunch a little bit, lift my head up and keep my chin tucked, make fists, and then notice that I'm not pushing my whole feet together, I'm only pushing my heels together. My feet are out a little bit, so just my heels are pushing together. Dig your elbows in, keep your ribs down, thrust up. So a couple of problems associated with frog pumps is that number one, your neck can get sore if you're tucking your chin. And number two, you can slide back and then you have to keep repositioning your feet. If you're sliding back, then your knee angle will open up and then you'll start using more hamstring. So then you have to keep repositioning. So one solution to that is to elevate your head onto something. You can use a Bosu ball or something else. This is nice and comfortable. And now I get into position and I'm not using my neck muscles to support me. And then this also prevents me from sliding back because this has helped keeping me in place. Now let's talk set and rep schemes. Well, there's kind of two strategies that I use when I do frog pumps with body weight. So sometimes I will do them and I'll just pump out for reps and I'll just kind of go like this. And I'm not squeezing at the top so much, I'm just pumping for reps, okay? When I do them this way, I go high reps. I do sets of 60, sets of 70, sets of 80, sets of 100. I can even do sets of 120. I think one point in time I got 180 or maybe even 200, but I can't do that anymore. I have a lot of my female followers with the best glutes, they're doing 500 total reps broken down into a few sets. They'll do like 5 sets of 100. Some of them can do 200, and that's crazy to me. But I don't think you should get caught up so much with progressive overload, like you shouldn't get to where you're doing 1,000 of these. But I typically will do, say, 2 to 3 sets of 80 to 120 when I do it that way, which is repping out. But then other days, I try a different strategy where I get into position and then I squeeze at the top. And I'm really focusing on that big squeeze. When I do it this way, I can't get nearly as many reps. So I'll do three to 4 sets of 25 to 50 when I do it that way. On a side note, give me some props for finally figuring out a good use for the Bosu ball. Now, which method is better with body weight? The repping method or the squeezing method? Well, in theory, the repping method will be better for generating metabolic stress, feeling the burn, attaining a pump. And the squeeze method may be a little bit better for generating high levels of mechanical tension and muscle activation, but really you should do both of them. So maybe you frog pump 3 times a week, and maybe one day a week you do the repping method, maybe another day a week you do the squeeze method, and maybe one day a week you do loaded frog pumps, which I'll teach you now. So now let's talk about dumbbell frog pumps. If you use a light dumbbell, like 20, 30, 40, 50 pounds, then you can just set it on top of you. It's no big deal. And if you use a heavy dumbbell and you have a training partner, they can just set it in your lap. But if you're training by yourself, you're going to want to do it like this. This is a 100-pound dumbbell. I set it down on the ground, end over end like this, and then I'm just going to roll into a sideline position, cradle it, grab a hold, and roll back over like this. Okay, get into position. Now once I'm done, I just roll back. Voila. Here's a cool method that requires a preloaded barbell and a thick bar pad. Now the preloaded barbells are ideal compared to barbells because they have small plates that don't interfere with your range of motion. They don't touch the ground. So all you're going to do is slide the thick bar pad halfway up, get into position, lower this down. Now you're going to have to slide it into place. Okay, lay down. Bust out your reps, and then when you're done, sit back up, and then from here, and then you're done. Now I'm going to teach you an open chain frog pump. The frog pump is closed chain, a closed kinetic chain, and the frog reverse hyper is an open kinetic chain, and they're very similar to each other in terms of kinematics, but for some strange reason, a lot of people who don't like frog pumps that much, they try the frog reverse hypers and they feel them working their glutes well. So even if you don't like frog pumps, you might like these. And here's how you do the frog reverse hyper. You just lay down across a bench, okay? Make sure you hold on to something, then get your heels together, just like you do in a frog pump. And then from here, just now, a typical set and rep scheme for these is 3 to 4 sets of 20 to 30 reps. So now I've taught you how to frog pump. If you don't like the frog pump, you'll know it right away. You don't need to try to fit a square peg into a round hole. Just don't do them. You might prefer wide stance glute bridges or maybe even frog reverse hypers instead. But if you do like them, try to find a secluded area or a corner of the gym. Don't plop down right dead center in the middle of the gym and then be that person that locks eye contact with all the gym members. I hope you enjoy the video. Bye everybody.